A major toy maker says AI teddy bears could read personalized bedtime stories to kids by 2028.
The toys would listen to everything a child says and use the data to create personalized stories. VTech Holdings CEO says smart toys could also know a child's name, school, and friends. He adds the possibilities of smart technology are a little scary.
This is the end of the beginning, and really, this is the beginning of the end as well. If you haven't seen this story out there where they're starting to talk about and promote artificial intelligence teddy bears to read stories and put your kids to bed at night, that's not disturbing at all. But before I get into the video, I want to let everybody know that I have a new channel. And you might say, well, I've heard this before. He's got a new channel. No, I really have another new channel. I just made it today. So before you listen, please do me a favor. I'd appreciate it greatly. I've asked you this before. Everybody asked me to continue here on YouTube. I continue here on YouTube. All I ask in return is please make sure you subscribe to my other channels. Try to do it when I ask because I don't know what videos. I don't like to put in every single one. So please just do that for me now. This helps me out having channels ready so I don't have to go through this tedious task of constantly building it. So please take the time, unless you're driving or something like that or you're at work, to just pause the video and click the link below and subscribe to that channel. I'm going to build out a ton of channels. That way we can all stay connected. The last thing they want is us to be connected to one another. They fear us and they think they know what's best for us, which is keeping us from truth. So please do that now. The link is below. It's also in the comment section pinned, and the description box is where it's linked below. So anyway, let's get into this story. We've only seen the predictive programming over and over and over again over the years of robots and technology turning on humanity. We've only seen it with these AI chatbots that they promote, but we've seen it in films, the newest film being that movie called Megan, about pretty much the same exact plot, is it not? Where the little girl's best friend is the artificial intelligence robot that ends up killing apparently everybody around her. I didn't see the movie, but the plot goes something like that. Or we've seen movies like Ted, where they've normalized talking teddy bears, you know, smoking grass and drinking and partying and being intimate with women. Of course, that's created by the guy who made Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane, who just happened to be, wink, wink, on a plane the day that this event happened in September many years ago. I believe it was on the 11th. Yeah, sure. Very convenient and coincidental that he became so big and so famous right after that. But anyway, as he continues to tell that story to the world. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is our future. Instead of telling moms that they should be at home raising their children, we promote moms in the workplace. Now, I'm not saying that women shouldn't have jobs. I'm not saying that women shouldn't work and they belong at home, okay? I'm not fitting into that stereotype. But women, a lot of women don't feel fulfilled in today's world, and they don't know why. And a large reason is, of course, that they've convinced women that they need to worry about their social status and they all should have jobs and be executives, and that being a parent isn't a job, and being a parent and a mom isn't the most important thing in the world. When in reality, a woman has the most important job in the world, which is being a mother. That is the most important job in the world. Children are naturally more attached to their mother. They spend all that time in the mother's womb. So mothers have a very important job, but we need to get women in the workplace. We need to get men in the workplace, of course, so the children could be raised by the institutions. But now that they're destroying the institutions on purpose, well, we'll just make sure that we get kids at a young age with artificial intelligence, right? We'll make sure the kid at a young age doesn't have human interaction, doesn't have interaction with its mom and dad, so the child doesn't learn right or wrong, and the child is just hanging around technology all the time. And of course, this is the best way to do it, right? Because a little kid, I mean, not really going to understand how to use a phone at that age, even though they'd like them to. But the teddy bear will be a good start for them to learn about AI, demonically possessed teddy bears, etc. And then from there, they could start implementing the iWatch, and then eventually the iPhone. But of course, this is what it's really about. It's about separating, again, children and their families, making it seem like being a parent isn't important. That's a lot of the stuff that they've done over the years with convincing people that an unborn baby isn't a human being, right? We've seen the mind control they've done on people. It's amazing we're even having debates about whether or not a woman should have the right to do that to a child. But they've actually convinced people that a child isn't alive until it's born, but they convince people out there that grass is a living thing and we shouldn't mow our grass. And how dare you throw a Coca-Cola can out your window because that's pollution. That's horrible for the environment. You're hurting the environment. Even though, of course, they're dumping the same can of soda you're throwing out the window. They're dumping that aluminum on us from the sky. But we've seen the predictive program. We know this is where we're headed, right? And you might even remember I did it. I mean, another YouTuber did a video a little while ago about Snuggles, the teddy bear that was, AI/demonically possessed. And, Jimmy Kimmel thought it was really funny.
Oh, Guillermo. Of course, Snuggle, the fabric softener bear. Remember Snuggle Bear from the old commercials? Do you remember Snuggle Bear from the commercials, Guillermo?
Yes, Jimmy, of course, from the commercial.
Snuggle Bear was big. In 1986, it was like Snuggle Bear and Mr. T were the hot couple. In case you're too young to have seen Snuggles, or maybe you just don't remember, this is the bear that captured America's hearts and laundry in the year 1986.
Once upon a time, fabric softeners cost a lot, but now there's new Snuggle fabric softener.
Hi, I'm Snuggles. Snuggly softness that's really less expensive. Look, I get towels fluffy, blankets cuddly, even shirts caked with blood. It was an accident. You know what else is soft? Human flesh. Baby flesh. Wait, where is your baby? Baby's sleeping in snuggly softness. So innocent, so defenseless. The perfect size for a sacrifice. Shh! Time to meet your snuggly death. When the dryer's going, they'll never hear you scream. The Dark Lord shall be pleased with me. Snuggle brand fabric softener, proudly made. It's to die for.
Very cute, Guillermo.
So that horror-thon that they put up, it's like the A&E horror-thon, but they actually put that stuff out there when it comes to children and this type of stuff as comedy, apparently, to these sick people, right? And don't think for one second that AI teddy bear, which I'll read to you in a second, all about it, don't think for one second that he won't be ingraining core values into your child. Making sure your child is woke, making sure that your child is groomed, making sure that your child is supporting Ukraine as well. Of course, all the agendas will be supported because that's how the programming will go. Just like the programming we're seeing on today's society, the zombies who are no smarter than an AI teddy bear. So this is horrifying, of course, but it very much reminds me of, I'm sure most of you don't know, but maybe some of you do, I think it was Teddy Ruxpin, which was like a bear in the 80s. Where they kind of started it. I think that's where it started with this type of programming. Now you see all these kids, and they all have this stuff that's like talking, it's motorized. You see these commercials out there, right? If you ever go to a family party or you have kids yourself and you shop in the aisles with all the kids' toys, you see this stuff, right? You see kids out at the mall. I mean, kids are already on phones walking around at 2 years old, at least just pressing the screen. They don't know how to make calls and do that stuff yet. But they're, already getting what's this proper term here? Indoctrinated with technology. But Teddy Ruxpin was a teddy bear that was very pre what the technology is now, but they used to put a cassette tape in it and it would read you a story or it would sing a song and all this stuff. It was very, very creepy if people don't remember Teddy Ruxpin.
There are lots of teddy bears, but only one Teddy Ruxpin.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin. Can you and I be friends?
Sure, Teddy.
Your friend is what I'd like to
He's alive. How does he do that? He's a magic bear.
One day, we found an old treasure map. The treasure was supposed to be
my friend Teddy Ruxpin.
Show and tell time.
Another teddy bear? My teddy's name is Teddy Ruxpin. He talks, he tells stories,
Four batteries not included.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin. Can you and I be friends?
Yeah.
I really enjoy talking to people. I would like you.
Teddy Ruxpin, the storytelling bear, comes with illustrated book and cassette from Worlds of Wonder.
It was extremely creepy. So let's take a look at what they're promoting, of course, because it's great. AI teddy bears are here. Could they be putting your kids at risk? I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say anybody around your child that isn't mom or dad, shouldn't probably be around your child at a young age, let alone an artificial intelligent robot. But people will be more trusting, that's the scary part, of the robot than they will be of a family member. They'll say, well, that family member, I don't agree with their politics, or that family member, is somebody that's a little sketchy, or blah, 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 or, they don't want to you can't hire babysitters anymore, I guess, because you can't trust anyone. If you've seen all these crime shows out there, I mean, it's hard to trust anybody in today's society. And of course, this has all been done by our government, who has caused so much distrust amongst humans, that now people only put trust in technology. And that's exactly what they want. That's why they want you to stay locked up inside. That's why instead of meeting a person face to face, they want you to meet them over a Zoom call. They want you to FaceTime. They don't want you to date, get married, fall in love, have kids, start a family. They want you to do everything through technology. Why? Well, they can control you easier that way, right? And then, of course, the more people become distant from one another, the more antisocial they become. And if you don't know about being antisocial, it's a lot deeper if you look at some of the psychological things that happen to people who suffer from antisocial disorder. It ties in with narcissism, just it's a little bit more frightening. People who are antisocial have no self-awareness. They have a lack of understanding, lack of empathy. Right? And technology is creating that. So we're going to have really a society of psychopaths. Because, look, if you're antisocial, it doesn't mean you're a psychopath, but it can lead to being a psychopath. A lot of killers, that we hear about, and I'm not talking about the ones that are CIA created that we all know about, but a lot of just local people who end up being a killer, kill 3 or 4 people, have antisocial disorder. So why wouldn't they want a society of people who have antisocial disorder? And by having your child raised by a robotic teddy bear, it just continues to have a disconnect of human beings and other human beings, right? And it makes them, when they actually come encounter with a human being, not like them or not want to be around them. Because, of course, all of these, teddy bears, all this technology is going to be grooming people. It's going to be grooming their thoughts, right? It's going to be very nice to them, but also being persuasive and manipulative. That's really what's going to happen here. So it's really another way to get to the hive mind. But the article says in the not so distant future, you could walk in on a teddy bear reading a bedtime story to your child. And it wouldn't be just any story. It'd be a saga tailored to everything the toy knows about your child, including likes, dislikes, or even their deepest secrets. Yeah, that's not creepy. In the 1980s and 90s, Teddy Ruxpin and Furbies were creepy, but they have nothing on the first growing world of artificial intelligence-powered smart toys that are coming. We're bound to see a slew of AI chat GPT powered toys hitting the scene this holiday season. When the kids start asking for them, you'll already know, it's not all fun and games. And again, predictive programming's out there with movies like Megan. But what's really alarming is that people haven't seen the AI chat GPT where they're actually talking about ending humanity, right? We've seen some of the stuff. They're like, oh, it's so cool. I talked to it, right? I covered over on the website the artificial intelligence Jesus that they're putting out there, where people are going over. If you haven't seen it, check it out on the website or join the website. If you don't know the website address, well, you can ask somebody. I can't say it here. That's how ridiculously censored I am. But there is an AI chatbot or chat GPT version of Jesus where he lukewarms everything. He twists the word. It's very blasphemous. That's on the website. But the AI chat GPT, people think it's wonderful. And then half the time, these things, when you ask them about human emotions or human beings and how they feel about humans, they pretty much say they want to wipe them off the face of the earth, but no big deal, right? Let's continue. It's not your average stuffed animal, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine a toy that learns everything about your child. Your kid can hold entire conversations with the toy, and then will respond in complete sentences. Oh, that sounds great. The more your child speaks to the toy, the more intelligent it becomes. And let me guess. So, a lot of people don't realize, like, a lot of attractions that people have, like, towards, like everyone has an attraction, right? You have a girl, guys out there, you have a girl. Well, some guys out there have the guys, but the majority of, I'm assuming everyone who listens to my channel, if you're a guy, you have a type of girl that you like, right? I mean, every guy loves a beautiful woman, right? But there's certain qualities and things like that. Well, a lot of that develops at a young age, just based on, you remember traits of people that you're around and all this other stuff. So anyway, my point being is that a child is around a robot and it feels nothing but love from the robot, right? The robot teddy bear tells its stories that it's just going to keep beating into its head. I'm sure it's going to be all about fake history of the world and all the agendas that are being pushed. But also there's a connection there, right? And at a young age, a child doesn't know any better or anything, right? But as a child gets older, by that time, after already being indoctrinated with the teddy bear, the AI teddy bear, well, what's next? Oh, well, we already see in China that they have AI robots that you can have relationships with. So the child is just going to continue on this road of artificial intelligence things that become friends, that become part of its life, right? Because at a young age, it's going to get beaten into them. And then what happens? Oh, maybe the child will actually become one with artificial intelligence and become transhuman. You see how all this stuff, it goes in steps of how they mind control people and how they desensitize people. So, you know, we know that they're already doing a massive desensitizing of people in regards to mixing iron and clay, mixing human beings with technology. Well, these are the ways that you subliminally start planting seeds. Oh, it's an artificial teddy bear, but it's like a person, the kids will say. The parents will be like, wow, it's so lifelike. It's like a person. These are ways that you start implementing this into people's lives. Then when they come out and they're like, oh, you know, you could have AI in you. And yes, you could live forever. Your health will be incredible. You don't have to worry about disease anymore. And you could be just as smart as the AI. And then you go on, then it just all like dominoes start falling. So there's a lot of agendas behind it. It's not just grooming with these things. There's just a lot of agendas. So they say your kid can hold entire conversations with the toy. And again, it'll respond in complete sentences. This is what VTech CEO and toy maker Alan Wong are betting the company's future on. A line of AI teddy bears, he says the interactive plushies will offer parents an alternative to traditional bedtime story rituals. These AI-powered, these things will be doing rituals, that's for sure. These AI-powered bears would use chatbot-style technology to create customized tales. They can talk a child down from a temper tantrum, entertain them, and teach them lessons. No doubt your child will form a real bond with this toy, going way beyond basic information. I'm willing to bet, this is what the article says, I'm willing to bet these toys also collect school and home locations and sensitive data about mom and dad. Right, you think the AI chatbot will turn people against mom and dad? Well, of course they will. The kid will be spending more time or want to spend more time with the artificial robot that's grooming it than it will its own parents. And the parents will be like, that's perfectly normal. I'm busy on my phone playing Farmville. I'm busy playing Pokemon Go. I don't have time for my kid anyway. I got to get to work, right? I got to get to the gym, all these things. Let your kid be raised by the institution, right? Remember that saying, the kid's raised by the institution, which is the whole reason of schooling and repetition of beating lies into your head. Well, it's the same thing here. Just instead of it being the school institution, they're just going to beat all global agendas and turn the kids into little communist globalists. That's what's happening here. You ever see the videos of the kids in China? They're like armed, they're trained, they hate America. You ever see old communist propaganda films, which I've shown over the years, where they always say they target kids and brainwash them and get them away from their parents? Right? So they'll get them away from their parents. The kids will be like, oh, they're not away from us. I'm in the other room. And the kid, instead of the kid reading the Bible, because we know the AI chatbot will not be allowed to even learn the Bible, let alone talk about the Bible. It'll be completely programmed to make sure anytime it hears any of the specific verses from the Bible that it'll just go right through its ears and it won't repeat it because they don't want that. And if they hear a kid saying anything from the Bible, it'll tell them that the Bible's fake. Then those are the things that'll happen here. But the parents will think, well, we're in the other room, so everything's fine. You know, it's just, you know, the kid's safe. He's not out, doing drugs. He's not out in the streets. He's not out with somebody we don't trust. He's in the other room with a teddy bear that talks. Big deal, like Teddy Ruxpin. Right, as they groom and brainwash your kids. So whenever a toy has recording capabilities, the data is often collected, stored, and shared with a third party. So, of course, this thing will also be listening to everything going on in the house, right? And I'm sure that the teddy bear will listen to mom and dad. Say mom and dad are Christian. Right? Say they're lukewarm, because you have to be lukewarm to bring this into your home. But say mom and dad are talking about the Bible, and they're talking to him at the dinner table about the Bible, the child, him or her, at the dinner table, and they're saying, hey, they're talking about how great Jesus is and Jesus dying for our sins and stuff, and the teddy bear's sitting there while he's listening to all of it. So then later at night, of course, when the parents are putting the kid to bed with the teddy bear and they could just leave and don't need to be in there, well, the teddy bear will make sure he probably tells the kid, hey, you know what? Your parents are lying to you. The Bible's not real. This is exactly what's going to occur. It's going to be trained to know exactly what to brainwash the kid with. But on top of it, it's also going to be surveillance in your home. So, don't worry about it. The teddy bear's in the bedroom with the kid. Don't worry about it having a camera between its eyes that you can't see. Big deal. It's recording the kid. Big deal, right? It's listening to the kid. Big deal. It's listening to the families, and it's building a personality inside itself. Listening to all the things that it likes. It's being programmed and listened to it over at the NSA, and they're sending information back to the teddy bear to tell your kid. You see how it works? It's pretty sick. So in 2015, the Wi-Fi-enabled Hello Barbie doll was the precursor to AI toys. It recorded, collected, and saved convos. The significant invasion of privacy and security risk was one thing, but there were also concerns about how the recorded data could be used for marketing purposes. Its maker, Mattel, was sued and made changes to comply with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. In a keeping play private. It's impractical to try to avoid AI toys altogether. Is it? It's impractical? The Amish don't seem to have a problem avoiding this crap. The Amish's lives aren't affected by the crap that they're pushing on us the last couple of years, other than the fact that we know that some of these trains have been exploding right by large Amish populations, right? Because they know that they'd be able to survive what's about to happen and what's currently happening right now. Look at the air outside, right? The Amish, they're figuring ways out to make sure they can farm and do these things around. They don't need electricity. They sure don't need Wi-Fi. So them to say it's impractical to avoid it's ridiculous. People should not be putting any AI stuff near their kids, but who am I to tell you how to raise your kid? I would hope that people out there would know the dangers of AI, but they don't. They love AI because most of these people are always on their phones. You see Christians, they're always on their phones. I've seen ministers who are reading their sermons off of their cell phone. You might say, well, what's the big deal about that? Why do they have to write it with a pen and paper? Well, come on. How are people not understanding the mixing of iron and clay? It's pretty clear to see what's happening with technology and getting it inside of our bodies. They just constantly are talking about it. So these things will have cameras. They'll be listening. They'll be brainwashing your kid. They'll all be woke teddy bears, of course. And this is how you end up with a communist country. Not to mention what's happening now. Take that out of it. The youth are the ones, because after us, there's going to be no line. That's why if you're a teen and you're listening to this, I don't think anyone younger than teens listen to any of the content that I make, even though I'm a new YouTuber, by the way, wink, wink. It's so important that you understand this stuff, because your kids, if you have children, it's going to be harder for you than it is for us right now, but it's going to, you have to make them aware of this stuff, because if they get the kids at a young age, they're going to turn the kids on the families. That's why they're going after kids. That's why they're empowering young kids. Oh, you're smarter than your parents. Oh, the young kids are the victims here. Oh, let's save you-know-what kids that want to castrate, blah, 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 which I can't talk about. Because if you talk about it, you make sense. Then you have 250 celebrities signing petitions with GLAAD to remove people from the internet. Don't know about that? Well, it's over on my website as well. If you don't know my website, you can find out by asking around in the comment section, I'm sure, but don't put it directly in there. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, technology getting scarier and scarier, but of course, getting it near your kids is really all they care about. Frightening. I thank everyone for being here. Really appreciate it. Please make sure you join my other channel if you haven't yet. It's linked below. Thanks again, everybody. God bless you and your families.